Hello, everyone. Welcome from London, UK. I'm Nadia Morozova, Global Analytics and Insights Expert at bestinsightsia.com. Today, I'm really excited to share with you my experience and ideas on how video can be used as a powerful tool to communicate complex and innovative research methodologies to your business partners. Tell consumer stories rather than share various data is one of the key leaders' advice on building strong expert profile in the area of insight. I believe that this is very powerful advice, which should be taken into action by insights professionals. However, one of the first questions that insights professionals face while building their action plan on storytelling is, where does it start? And the answer is very simple. It starts from building a scene, providing enough background that it will be easier for listeners and readers to understand a plot of the story. In the case of telling stories about consumers, we should start with an explanation of why they did this particular study in that particular way. I think that many insights professionals have faced a lot of times the question, how did you get this data from their business partners and clients? From my experience, this is a very tough question, even if it sounds very straightforward. The reason for this is related to the fact that quite often this question turns into a long conversation that diminishes focuses of both researchers and their audience. And instead of sharing in-depth consumer insights, presenters get stuck into not actionable conversation of how to make this and that type of research. Another issue is that strategic business questions often require complex research methodologies. That means that the study design becomes very difficult to grasp from one easy slide. Also, current high speed of development of the research industry quite often means that the same business questions are answered with different types of research methodologies. This makes it very challenging for marketing or sales managers to understand a particular study from the first look. So, nowadays, insights professionals need to think about their story much in advance of getting their final data in their hands. Of course, it also corresponds to the main story, but today we will focus more on getting the right scene. Considering this challenging of setting a scene, I've decided to start using brief videos which outline selected research methodology and how a story has been conducted. My key rationale for this choice has been primarily driven by the simplicity with each complex ideas on study design can be communicated with the use of video, possibility to show real research participants, and overall flow of research. So, thinking about how to prepare a scene for your storytelling in advance, you need to decide what kind of video footage that you need to make during your fieldwork. From my experience, it's much more efficient and effective to prepare video footage in advance. Building your footage plan, it's very important to step into the shoes of your audience and imagine the key possible questions that will be asked in the beginning of your presentation, where you share your final insights and business recommendations. Think about the experience of consumer research. What part of research will be the most critical in your story communication, and where key challenges can appear during your presentation. For instance, this can be concerns related with data quality, markets selected for the research, or respondent profile. Sometimes studies also include several stages, and then it's just difficult to follow what was done then. Let's consider some of my projects, where I decided to make video to describe selected research methodology. One of them is related with understanding of e-commerce shopper behavior. The study was based on blending neuroscience, qualitative, and quantitative research methodologies. My key objective was to communicate in this short video the complex flow of the research, and build the trust of my business partners in a strong data quality that the study had. So, the flow of the video was the following. I started with introduction of location and time frame for the study. Communicating strong data quality, I showed how screening was done and what steps were taken in this regard on each and every stage of the study. The study consisted of 3 principal parts. So, I showed each part of the study, providing details on what specifically was done and how it enabled me to generate insights. Another example of the project where I used video to communicate research methodology is my research that has driven a new product launch. The project introduced a complicated research setup where I combined concept and product testing across multiple locations with different tastes and product experience. So, after an introduction of locations and time, I provided solid background on the rationale for my selection of this particular market and this particular consumer profile. When I shared the most important details on how a very unusual setup of combination of product and concept tests worked on each market, summing up the flow of my study. I hope that these 2 cases provide you enough evidence that it's useful to use video in order to describe your research methodology, especially when you have a project with a complex or innovative methodology. However, if you don't yet have any project in your current portfolio, then this approach can be used. I've decided to share a few more ideas where video can help you a lot in setting a scene. In my experience, I also used video to share innovative concepts to my business partners. For instance, introduction of behavioral economics principles isn't an easy task when you rely only on some academic research. Video that shows consumers during their decision-making process can facilitate the understanding of the key idea behind each principle. The same can be said about the case when zero moment of truth was just introduced by Google in 2011. To sum up the key idea of my presentation, there are 3 building blocks where video can help with building strong engagement of your business partners while you are setting the scene of your research. The first question to be asked is, what are the key business questions that the study addresses? How these business questions become translated into research questions? And the third one, how research methodology was selected and implemented to address identified business questions. These 3 building blocks will allow you to prepare the most actionable footage for your presentation of consumer insight. Thank you a lot for your attention. If you have any questions, please let me know.